Alright gamers, geeks, and other delinquents from the outer realms, it's time for the Gamers in Beta podcast with Captain Mike M.
That is a travesty of the highest order I've ever fucking seen one.
Featuring assorted co-hosts, Jay Maniac 17.
What the fuck was that all about?
Corey Atwood.
It's not my fault you guys all have shitty taste.
Sean Quicksilver 3355.
Well, maybe you should look it up.
And Joe State.
That game sucks, dude.
So, Corey, I don't want to paint you into a corner here. Looking at you, you know, your bucket hat and your chucks. I don't think you're a wrestling guy, a WWE, WWF type of guy, are you?
How are you looking at me right now?
Well, I have these pictures.
I'm creeping out. I'm creeped out now. Yeah, but you're describing me. You just left off the naked below the waist part.
Oh, boy. So maybe in your youth, like many young males, you were Hulkamania was running wild in your house.
Yes, I was a big Hulk guy. I love those little wrestling buddies and the Hulkamania like cartoon. That was my height of Hulk fandom.
Yes. So the WWE or wrestling in general is known for cutting storylines when something happens outside of the on-air wrestling backstage stuff. So what I mean by that is someone gets in, a DUI, someone kills someone, rape, whatever it is, that person seems to be excommunicated from the organization, and they move on to a new story like it never existed. Okay? And that's what we're essentially going to do here, but kind of the opposite, right? We're going to come out and acknowledge that last night, Jeremy, myself, and you recorded episode 210.
Yes.
The first half of the show, 45 minutes or so, recorded, but what came out was just me and lots of awkward pauses as I waited for your responses. And unfortunately, our recording software did not catch those responses. So in the interest of everybody's ears out there, I do not want to release a podcast where it's just me for 45 minutes and lots of awkward pauses. So what we're doing here right now is we are recording the beginning of episode 210, just myself and Corey. And then in a little bit, you'll hear from Jeremy as well from Dad's Getting Grounded. He was with us all last night as well, but like I said, shit went tits up, and we apologize for that. This is going to be a bit of a hodgepodge of an episode, so I appreciate your patience and your listening, and hopefully next week we'll be back with a more organized and professional-sounding show. Typically when we release shows on Tuesday, numbers are not so great. You guys usually, I think, download everything on Monday and then you go about your work week. So if you can do me a solid, download this bad boy, tell your friends, it would be much appreciated, and we'll pay you back somehow. I don't know how, don't know when, but sometime we'll pay you all back for that.
Yeah, we are struggling to limp across the finish line here. We're recording all out of order. This is actually the last thing we're recording, and the last thing you hear is going to be the first thing that we recorded. So it's going to be like this crazy time travel, fucked up podcast, like Frankenstein style thing we're putting together here. So you better fucking listen, because this has been a struggle. And fuck you, Skype. Holy shit. Fuck you.
Yes. So again, I appreciate you listening, and enjoy the rest of the show, and we will be back next week with 211, but this has been 210, a labor of love.
Why don't you shut the hell up?
All right, I'm going to shut the hell up. So usually we kick these bad boys off with some news items. In the interest of time and us re-recording, we're not going to go that route. We're going to jump right into the question of the week stuff. So I apologize. Next episode, maybe we'll make up for it. But right now, let's hear from the rowdy one, Roddy Piper.
They think they got the answers. I change the questions.
All right. The question of the week that we asked people is, how is your gaming and or podcast listening time affected during the summer months? Summer is in full swing, like Jay likes to remind us. So let's hear what you guys had to say as far as what's being affected on your end.
Yeah, we got a pretty good response here too. That's one of the reasons I was so upset about losing the first half of the show already, because I liked a lot of these responses. So we will limp through this and get to the end of this episode. God damn it! So just so we can read these responses and our voicemails. We can't let the voicemails go. You want to start? I think you should start.
All right.
Oh no, I'm green. I'm green. I'm sorry. I'm all fucked up now. I'm thrown off by these technical difficulties. All right. So our first responder was Chuffy. He says, I always think I'm going to play a ton of games because I'm off work for 6 weeks in the summer. But the reality is dad duties take all the time. I don't even late night game as much because we're either out and about or I'm super tired. I tend to listen to more podcasts because I will listen while the kids are swimming or playing or fighting with each other. So that's a great mental image of kids just drowning each other while he indulges in Gamers in Beta. So I salute you, Chuffy. Thank you. Now just glance over your kid. Make sure they're both alive. Okay,
exactly.
Good. Now keep listening now. Keep listening. And next responder was Devious Mr. Matt. He's one of your PUBG compatriots, is he not?
Never heard of him.
No? Okay. Gaming time for me goes down. Too much other stuff going on outside to be inside gaming. And that sounds just like my parents when I was a kid, because they'd always just say, get the fuck off the Sega and go outside. So I feel that too. I feel a little bit of guilt when I stay inside and play video games. Our next responder was Jedi Dad. Really only changes for me late evenings, since that's when I game during the week. I have to kick my 10-year-old off the PS4 since they stay up later. But now that school has started year-round, I'm back to getting on a bit earlier. Has nothing to do with my podcast listening, or summer has nothing to do with my podcast listening, as I listen while driving to and from work or on my lunch break. So you mentioned his kids go to school all year round?
They have some sort of trimester where he's located at in Texas. So I think they take breaks throughout the year, maybe like somewhere between 4 to 6 weeks off in between semesters. And
nice.
So once you're done with 3 semesters, then the school year kicks over again.
Okay. That's weird. I mean, it sounds like more vacation, but yeah, I'm not familiar with that.
Yep.
Next responder was Meef J. Summer game time is less because kids are up later and we are out and about more. Summer podcast listening time also less, but sometimes that's because I have a Twitch stream playing on the side. # work lurk. You do that too, don't you? I think you look at some PUBG while you're doing some work.
Yeah, once I'm caught up on the podcast and work is not too stressful, I will flip on Twitch on my other monitor and watch the doctor or someone else, usually playing PUBG.
Yeah. You keep the sound on or off while doing that?
I keep the sound on. I wear headphones.
Oh, okay. Next responder was Indio Techno. It always varies depending on how work is going for me. If I have a lot of calls, I'll be on the road a lot, and I listen to tons of shows. If not, I'm in the office. Can't listen to many then. As far as games, I'm at 0 now that we have a puppy, and I have to train her. But she's super cute and worth the time. Aww. He did put a picture of her up in the Discord chat, if I remember correctly.
Yes, a nice, cute Labradoodle.
That's right. All right, and some dude, Stately Joe or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Never heard of the guy.
Big Xbox guy.
Yeah, that's true. I get that from his name. I don't know him very well, but I just sense it. All right, summer doesn't really seem to have a difference necessarily. Now that I have the new job with the overnight shift, I have to prep myself to convert from days to nights because on my days off, I sleep at night still. Luckily, that means one night a week I get to stay up until 3 or 4 a.m. playing video games. And I'm jealous of that. That is like the college years. I remember, like, I wouldn't even consider going to bed until it was at least 2:30 when I was in college, just playing Halo like all night. I miss those times.
Yeah, I do that now, and it will take me out of my rhythm for many days, and so I cannot stay up till 3 or 4 a.m.
Oh yeah, my whole week would be fucked. Like yeah. I would need 4 days to get things back to normal at least.
All right, let's see who else we got here. We got Jake Assistol68 says summer gets me gaming more. Who wants to go outside and be close to nature? Yuck. Give me time in my nice AC cooled home. Hermit mode activated.
That makes me curious as to where he lives. I want to know how necessary that AC is. Like, if it's like Arizona, then yeah, if he steps outside, he'll die. But if it's up here, you could go outside once in a while.
I think he's in Midwest.
Oh, okay.
Let's see. Dr. John's. Summer is arguably the best time for my podcast listening, but my gaming time goes down the toilet. Every Monday I'm yelling at my phone, "Fucking unload, you fucking fuckers," on the inside, because it's nearing my lunch break and or I feel an existential crisis coming on. Again. So thanks to you guys, I only have 10 more hours to fill with some sort of entertainment. As for gaming, after I crawl inside, after fetting off work and getting all my shit done, I have about 2 to 3 hours until the ZQL coma sets in. Saturday, though, I'm only limping inside after work, so I have a majority of the day to game, which usually goes like it's getting late, I should go to bed. Shit, is that the sun? Oh well, back to gaming, blah 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 blah. My thumbs won't stop typing. Is this what being on Twitter feels like? Do
you recall the last time you I know it's like people use that as a phrase, play until the sun comes up. When was the last time you literally played video games until the sun rose?
Wow. 2 years ago when I did Extra Life?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Extra Life is the last time I can remember doing that. And that was a pretty miserable experience. Those last couple of hours, those are rough.
Yes, yep. Let's see, we got a new Discord member, Papa Bibsby. Welcome to the Discord family. He says, well, I'm fucked either way for gaming when it comes to seasons. Summer is by far the worst right now due to a new house and having man responsibilities with sports and stuff for the kids. Having a nurse for a wife, I have 2 weeks off of gaming and 2 weeks on. But either way, all my buddies blow past me in level progression when it comes to gaming. So does that count as an answer? No, you say? Fuck it. I tried. Wink.
I like the anger. There's some raw anger in there. Some irritation. You're in the right Discord chat, sir. Welcome, Papa.
And Retro Gamer Excellence, Shownuff71. Gaming and podcast listening don't change much for me during the summer. I have a job that allows me to listen all day long as the work gets done. It's just me and my wife at home, so our time belongs to us for the most part. She doesn't game outside of the occasional Peggle match, so while I don't have as much game time as I did when I was single, it's typically a generous amount and consistent all year long. Yes.
And do you remember that? Do you remember when all your time belonged to you?
No, I can't. I was thinking of that the other day. I can't.
Yeah, that was a long time ago. Even like just a piece of my time is nice to have now.
Yep. I don't remember any of I was busy touring with my band in 98, 99. It was right around the time I met my wife, and I left that band in late 99. And I think towards the end of that year, we got a bulldog puppy. And I think ever since then, I've been cleaning up shit. So I've had, 2 dogs. I had 2 bulldogs before I had kids. And then, those died off, and I got other dogs. But I've had kids along with these other new dogs. So I think a steady stream of my life from 99 on, I've just been picking up shit. I haven't had any time to myself, really.
It's a lot of turds, man. A lot of turds.
Yep. Let's see. Where are we here? We got to let people know what the question of the week is for next week.
That's right. Yes.
This is a question by Jeremy from Dad's Getting Grounded. He knows how much I love talking about food. We've had nothing but talk about hot dogs and sausages and condiments and all that other good stuff. So he passes along this question to us. He wants to know, what are the perfect ingredients for nachos? And specifically, in what order do you place the toppings? I guess in his house, there is a constant debate on what the proper order is, should the cheese be the foundation? Should the cheese be the final topping? Should you encase all the ingredients with the cheese like a hard shell, and then have to dig through to get to the guacamole and the sour cream and the beans and whatever meat you put on?
Yeah, he made it seem like him and his wife disagreed on where the cheese comes in. Like, should the cheese be on top of the rest of them, or should cheese be underneath? And the way he made it sound, they had a inherent disagreement about that. I have strong feelings about this. I think there's definitely a way to do it, but I will save that for the next episode. I can't talk about that yet.
Yes. All right. So we're going to transition here to voicemails and part 2 of the Gamers in Beta podcast. So sit back and enjoy. Jeremy will be with us very shortly. All right, first voicemail is from Meef J of Everyday Gamers. I can't remember if he's left a voicemail before. I think he did, maybe when we initially kicked off this voicemail thingamajig. So let's hear what Meef J has to say. And I'm taking a guess here, a guesstimate, since we're giving away something this week. We're giving away a code for Logan, the movie. The people that chime in with their favorite Joe State moment. We're going to pick here. We're going to have a meeting of the minds, and someone is going to get the code. Wonder if Meef J's voicemail is related to Joe State. Let's see.
Hey, Gamers in Beta. This is Meef J from the Everyday Gamers podcast, and I just wanted to call in and let you know my favorite Joe State moment, or moments, I guess. And that would probably be when he was doing the tattoo apprenticeship and the stories that he'd bring from, learning how to be a tattoo artist. The same way that Cat the Craft, teaches people about beer and stuff that I have no clue about. It was kind of neat hearing, Joe's input on the world of tattooing, which is another thing I have no clue about. So it was educational and informative and really cool. And let's see. Oh, the other thing was his eBay stories, especially when people would get mad at the people that buy, their Nintendo Switches and sell them on eBay, and then he would say, "Hey, that's how I earn a living, so back off," or whatever. Anyway, so we'll miss Joe, but hopefully he can get back on at some point. Keep up the good work, fellas. I'll talk to you later.
All right. Thank you, Meef J. Everyday Gamers, go out and listen to that podcast. Yes, I remember both stories. Good stuff. Good memories. Mm-hmm. All right. Who we got here next? Let's play Maniac 17. Anybody familiar with him? Never heard of him.
Never heard of him.
Never heard of this guy. Crickets, right?
Hey everybody, it's Maniac 17 from Gamers in Beta. I am unable to make it this week, so I'm calling in to let you know that I haven't played much games again. Well, what a surprise, right? Well, I will see you next week in the next Gamers in Beta, and I will have a good story for you. Not good for me, but maybe you'll enjoy it. Until then, see ya!
Short and sweet.
Mm-hmm. He's out of here. Amanda's queer dog.
I'm proud of his dog, personally.
All right, where are we at? This is a dilemma here. We have 2 Fred French calls. 2.
That's not a dilemma. That's a blessing. What are you talking about?
And I can't tell if one of these is an imposter or not. So let's start with the first one. We're going to go in chronological order, and then we'll get to the bottom of things here. So here we go.
Gamers in Beta.
Sounds like the real deal.
Gentlemen, what's up?
I think so.
How we doing, gentlemen? Good. Hey, let me say this to Joe, even though he's not on the show. Sorry to hear you have to go, Joe. Wish you the best of luck, buddy. I'm sure you'll be calling in. That's all right. We'll tag team this thing. Call it in, buddy. Me and you, the Mustard Hotline, we'll call it the Mustard Hotline. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. But for real, Joe, good luck. Good luck with your job, and hopefully someday you'll be back on the podcast. As for you 3 remaining guys, hey, round of applause. You 3 guys still put on a heck of a podcast. Take a bow. The audience loves you. Great show, guys. Way to keep it going. Now for your question of the week. Yes, my gaming practically comes to a standstill. I'm lucky if I get 5 hours a week in gaming. It's horrible. I hang my head to it, but it's true. What can I say? But I'll pick it up in the winter. I don't make up for it in the winter. Podcasting-wise, yeah, it takes a hit too. As I had to cut back. At one point, I was banging podcasts out like mad, enjoying them all, but I had to cut back. I'm down to a measly 5. That's okay. You guys are at the top of the list at 5.
That makes me happy.
To let the people know, I actually cut the cord on Major Nelson. I think he's nothing but a fanboy.
We beat Major Nelson.
Garbage right alongside the ketchup. Yes, sir. Right alongside the ketchup.
Wow, we got some Major Nelson hate here.
This is why I don't have much time in the summertime, because I am patrolling the backyards for the cookouts. I see a cookout, I grab a bottle of mustard, and I crash the cookout. These people need me. They need to know what mustard means to a cookout, and yes, I am there doing the job for the mustard lovers of the world. Yellow mustard lives forever.
He's doing the Lord's work.
Yellow mustard flag, and parade
you
that
think he wears
too.
Tights?
That's what we need.
Yellow tights.
Sir, indeed. That's what we need. Hey, big shout out to Mafia Thug. Love that answer last week. That was an exciting, excellent answer. I think we can definitely rule the box office. Yes, sir. Let's pop those heads like grapes, and let's have a great time. Outstanding, outstanding, outstanding. I was really busy this week, guys. I don't really have a question for you. Sorry to let you down, but consider it a vacation week for you. You don't have to answer any of my stupid questions this week.
You can never let us down.
Keep gaming. Enjoy the summer. And arrivederci, man. Arrivederci.
Yeah, see, I think people eat a lot more hot dogs in the summer, so he's just busy out there, just slanging that mustard.
Yeah, I like how the one person in the world who has a pass to be an Xbox fanboy gets shit on by Fred French for being so. It's like that Major Nelson. All he does is like Xbox. Well,
no, they sign his paycheck,
right?
And I think that we beat Major Nelson. We are still in that top 5, so that makes me. I want to know what what the other podcasts are that see what kind of company we're in as far as that top 5 goes.
Yeah. All right, so maybe it's Dad's getting grounded. I think that's where he might have heard of us from, right? Moving on, we have another Fred French call. I do not know if this is the real Fred French. I just casually listened to it. So here we go. Let's check this one out.
We have late breaking news, special news report. And if you're old school, you'll remember that no good news is good news with Fred French. Hey, I just found out, guys. Mayo won the Splatfest. Down with ketchup, Mayo won it, yeah! Well, why wasn't mustard in it? Hello? No mustard? Who sets up these Splatfests and leaves out mustard? Who? I don't know. But anyway, folks, at least ketchup didn't win. Arrivederci.
So at the very beginning, I didn't think that was him, but as it went on, that was him.
If it wasn't him, the person did their homework because he signed off with arrivederci. He mentioned ketchup right away. He mentioned mustard right away. Knew how much he hated ketchup, so he was he's pro mayo because of the enemy of my enemy is my friend type thing. So maybe it was just it was Fred not in his home base because it did sound like the background audio sounded a little different. I think
maybe he's calling from the strip club or something.
Yeah, he was on the road.
Yes.
He was at a cookout.
Yeah, probably.
All right. So out of all those voicemails, we only had one entry to the Logan code, and that was MeefJ. And we have some other entries here. Some of these, or I should say most of these, are from Discord. Maybe some are from Twitter. Let's kick off with Gamer Goalie. He says, my favorite Joe moment is when he announced he was leaving the show. Do I win the movie code?
Oh,
a little salt
son of
there.
a bitch.
Getting salty.
Yeah. So, I don't know about that, but I do know about this.
This guy sucks.
Next, Devious Mr. Matt, a.k.a. Half-Life. He says, my favorite moment was when Joe found out that I was on the 40cast. Yuck, yuck, yuck.
I think I remember that.
Let's see. Mafia Thug says, my favorite moment was when Joe State told me to calm down a little on bringing the heat on Mr. French. And then later in the podcast, he tells us all to call in and bring the heat. LOL.
That's true. He did do that. I guess he's protective over French, I think. So,
let's see. We have RoboPig weighing in. He says, I love the story of Joe losing an epic chair to the famous midget guy. Dave, the midget guy is the Matt Roloff. And I'm not sure if we're calling them midgets in 2017, but I'm quoting this here. This is not my words, people.
He's so famous, but I don't know his name.
Yes, Matt Roloff.
That was a good story. I had no idea who the guy is or anything about reality television, but it was still a really great story. And the next one is the Elusive Man. I was going to say every time Joe crapped over Xbox because Xbox may or may not deserve it. That's kind of every episode, though. And but RoboPig just reminded me. So, yeah, I think he agreed with RoboPig. I think the rest of these kind of agreed with RoboPig.
Well, this is more from Elusive Man.
Oh, that's still, yeah, you're right. That is still elusive. Absolute best Joe memory, without a doubt, hands down, is easily the Feed the Troll story. I've never felt so bad about laughing so hard before. Thanks for the good times, Joe State. You will be missed as a regular. The Feed the Troll? Which one was that? Was that?
I don't remember what that is.
I don't know. I remember him telling me about the chick who fell off the front of the toilet and she took the toilet with her. That was probably one of my favorite Joe stories.
Oh, yes, that's right. That's right.
Yeah, just peeled the toilet out of the ground as she fell off the toilet.
Matt was, Matt from the 40cast was there for that. Did you know that?
For the. And our last one is Hooster30, totally agreeing with RoboPig. The best story was him losing the throne-style chair to the little Matt Roloff guy. I think that's his name. Fuck that guy. That was hella funny.
So I think we have a clear-cut winner here. RoboPig mentioned...
I'm sorry. I have one to interject. It's not qualifying, but
okay.
And I don't know if it's a Joe State story so much as the time where Sean told him to take the dick out of his ears because of the State Farm chicken thing. Like the tension, you could feel the tension on that episode at that moment. It was like, oh man, shit is about to go down. But
it did.
Really did. But that was ooh.
And to be candid, the tension really hasn't subsided either. It's still going on. I think Joe threw some hate last week, didn't he?
Yeah, I mean,
his voicemail, yeah.
You can't even bring up chicken around either of them. They get pissed like right away.
They had such a good relationship for a while there too. I think Sean was buying stuff off of his Amazon store and something. I don't know how it went south, but it went south quick. These things happen. Corey, do you have a favorite moment?
Well,
you already mentioned it.
that.
You mentioned the woman in the bathroom. Is that your moment?
Yeah, and that is probably my moment. And when he told me that their creative nickname for her was Big, and that was incredibly creative, and that made me laugh.
Well, certainly all the moments that we had Joe on were great. He is, not to be corny, but I appreciated when he actually talked about games. I think Joe, for his, looks can be deceiving, right? You would think Joe, guy, tattoos on his face, big burly guy. But the man can break down video games. When he actually gets into a game and talks about them, he does a very good job. So I think that's my favorite stuff from him is when he actually threw himself into a video game. It was fun to hear his take on it.
I need to bring up, too, that I did get to meet Joe in person when they flew us down to check out Lawbreakers. They flew a bunch of Games Journal people down to check out Lawbreakers early. So we did get to hang out down in North Carolina, and that was a lot of fun. Joe was great to drink with, and they gave us a bunch of free booze, so that was fun. Joe was a lot of fun to drink with.
So take back everything I just said about my favorite Joe State moment. The favorite Joe State moment is when we went out and had the Gamers in Beta Christmas dinner, the holiday.
Oh, yeah. Guest of honor.
Yes, that was hands down the best Joe moment. But let's get back to giving out a prize here. RoboPig mentioned the chair incident with Matt Roloff and losing it, and I think a couple other people backed that story up as well as being very funny. So since we got 3 mentions out of roughly 8 responses or so, I'm going to give the code to Dave RoboPig. Dave, your code is 4Z8. Oh, I'm not supposed to read that out, am I? I will send that to you some way, somehow. But congratulations, sir. You have won a code to Logan. Let's wrap up this segment one last time and give out the voicemail number. It's 508-658-BETA. Again, 508-658-BETA. We thank Fred French for always calling in. Air Tunnel Josh, again, apologies. But let's see if we can get some other people to call in and leave us voicemails. Don't always leave it up to Mr. French.
Just put that in your speed dial right now. It takes 2 seconds. You can look away from the road. Don't worry about it. You're on the highway. You're fine. Just put it in your speed dial right now. Then you can just, click of a button, call us.
Yep. Let's get into quickly what we've been playing. I will make it short and sweet here. I fired up Wolfentein New Order on PC. I want to finish that before the new one comes out. I'm not sure how much progress I made on that on the PS4. But I wanted to play this one on the PC. I didn't finish it on PS4, so I'm restarting it on the PC and hope to finish that in some due time. I started playing more of Dead Cells on PC, and I'm in the playing the beta branch of that game, and they've made lots of progress. I think they even made it a little bit easier because this is the first time I have played it where I've actually have gone to the Black Bridge where I faced this boss. I did die, but that's the first time I've made it that far. So I think they have scaled the difficulty down just a tad. Other than that, I've been playing Splatoon 2 on the Switch, making some progress, close to rank 10 now. I believe I'm 9. And I also participated in the Splatfest, and I was on Team Mayo. And I got to the second level of Mayo. I think I was a Mayo fiend before I was done.
Now, how did that work to get into it? Because I signed on to play once when I thought that it was going on, and I didn't see any option to go play it. So how did that work to
Well, of course you fired up
Splatfest?
Of course you fired up and you listened to those girls give their spiel about Splatfest.
Right.
And then I just pressed X. And once I pressed X, I went to the lobby. And in lobby, it was all right there. Those were all your options. You either could play solo, which meant you were playing, multiplayer, just like Turf War, without any friends, or you could play, with friends in sort of a team.
It was automatic. I must have signed on at the wrong time then.
Right.
Yeah, 'cause I didn't see any difference.
Again, it was a very narrow window. It was Friday night at 12 a.m., so 12 a.m. Saturday morning till 12 a.m. Sunday morning. It was It was just 24 hours.
Oh, I see. I thought it was all weekend. My mistake.
And it was, the same type of maps, except there was one other map that I haven't played yet where it seems like some of the places shift along, some of the platforms move. Have you come across that map in ranked matches?
Yeah, the docks where there's like those forklift type things that drive back and forth across the middle.
Yep.
Is that what you're talking about? I think that's one of my favorite maps. Actually, love that map.
No, other than that, it was just some of the same turf battle maps, and one team was shooting ketchup, and the other team was shooting mayo. And then a whole bunch of PUBG, right, Jeremy?
Oh yes, all of the PUBG.
We kicked off the first BFF stream last night. Bad Fodder Figures. I think we might have played for close to 3 hours, maybe a little longer.
It was like half somewhere around there. Yeah.
Yep. Nick, Games on the Mind, was there for the whole ride as well. We had lots of fun. Weren't very successful, but we had a lot of laughs. So go check that out on Twitch and YouTube. Those that's where the Bad Fodder Figures VODs can be found. So go check those out. But still having lots of fun. And last night was the first time I've played in first-person mode, and we'll get to that in some of the news story. But I think that's a bit of a game changer. I know you're not big on first-person, right, Jeremy? You prefer third-person?
Yeah, it's for me. It's more of just being able to see more of what's around me and seeing where things are coming from.
Yeah, I guess the only thing is when you're in first person, so is everybody else. So everybody else has got to suffer the same fate. But it is interesting. They got a little bit of work to do there on the characters because sometimes you're inside, you're in first person mode, and you can see like your eyeballs and half your character and things like that. So you get some weird animations here and there. But it is interesting, and when you watch it on Twitch as well, I think third person is a better watch when you're watching someone stream. First person is not as entertaining.
Yeah, it gives you, there's something right there on the screen to watch. So I agree. I'd rather watch, I think Battlefront was the same way. I'd rather watch someone playing third person than first.
But still, I can't quit the game. I have never in my life played a game for over 50 plus hours and continue to play it, and I'm terrible at it. There's something about it that just keeps bringing. I don't know if it's the allure to win, the laughs we have, or what. But there's just something that just keeps bringing me back. So that's what I've been playing this week. Jeremy, you want to go next?
Yeah, mostly just that. Partially because, kind of like what you said, it's I wish I could quit you, but not really. Also doing terrible, but as I mentioned on Dad's Getting Grounded, the little bit that I was on the last episode, it's all about mindset. If you go in and you think if I don't get the chicken dinner, I'm a loser and this game's rigged or whatever, then you're gonna have a bad time. But if you go in and especially if you have a group of friends and you say, hey, you know what, I'm just going to go in and try and have fun, or maybe just, see what kind of crazy, wacky stuff can happen, because crazy and wacky stuff does indeed happen. It's a really good time. Other than that, I hadn't been playing a lot. I did some PC upgrades this week, so I spent most of the week disassembling and reassembling and reinstalling and backing up and all that good stuff. But I did want to mention a game I watched a few weeks back. Corey, I'm very glad you're on this episode, because if anyone's going to be able to speak intelligently about this game with me, it's going to be you. Earthbound. A few weeks back, they did a Games Done Quick type thing on Twitch, which I usually don't watch those, but I just happened to tune in there, and they were doing Earthbound, which, for those who don't know, it's a JRPG, came out on the SNES days. It's very special to a lot of people for very different reasons. It's a good game, but one thing to keep in mind is the game came in an oversized box because they had to ship the strategy guide with it, because us dumb Americans weren't ready for real JRPGs back in the day. But for me, that game means something because when I was 17, I caught spinal meningitis, spent some days in the hospital, and then had like a 2-week basically bed rest period at home. And I rented that and kept that for the whole 2 weeks and basically played that until I got healthy again. So to me, in my mind, that game is not a game that can be done quick, as they put it, or in the case of the people playing it like in 4 or 5 hours or something ridiculous like that. I don't know, Corey, you've played it all the way through, correct? Probably. Yeah. Have you ever had the desire to just speed run that, or?
No, I totally agree with you. That's not a game that's meant to be consumed quickly, and I think that's probably why they did it. That's probably the novelty. Like, we're going to play this game that is meant to be a long, in-depth experience and just blast through it, because I mean, I didn't watch the stream. Did you watch the entire stream of them doing it or no?
I watched like 2.5 hours of it, which I've never ever done that, and most of that was like morbid fascination of like watching the guy playing it, and like you'd think he had like whatever Katharine Hepburn had, like whatever, like just the way he was shaking and twitching the controller to move around, but it was like the specific thing, and he'd take, you'd see a simple path from point A to point B, but he would take this roundabout way because they had gotten down to that much of a minutia on the game that they knew what tiles on the map would trigger an encounter and which ones wouldn't. And even at one point, he's like walking up and down to basically get enemies to disappear or to despawn. And a couple times he would be like, "There's something up there, so I'm going back. You can't see it, but I can just feel it." And it's like, I kind of believe the guy, and it's really disgusting that he's put that much time in it. But so that was the first part. The second part is there were people multiple times donating anywhere from $500 to $2,000 during that 2.5. Yes, just to sometimes it was just because, hey, you guys are doing great. Now it was for a charity, so I get that, but at the same time, some people were also donating $2,000 to pick the name of the dog or to pick the name of one of the characters and stuff like that. And I just can't imagine being at that point of my life where I could just drop even $200 for something like that. So, instantly, of course, I have my own feelings about that, but I know you've mentioned it a couple of times in the past. So I just
you're clearly not the person to drop $400 on a pair of cosmetic hot pants. Then I guess.
No.
Yeah, that's if someone was speed running like even Metroid seems like it would lend itself more to a speed run, or just Super Mario Brothers or something like that. That seems like games that lend themselves to speed runs. And if someone was speed running that, no one would bat an eye. But when you mention Earthbound playing it super, super fast, that's, like you said, I would watch out of curiosity too. Because when people play a game and they speed run it like this, they know it inside and out. They know every single, AI behavior. They know, like you said, where to walk, how to trigger certain spawns. So that would be really interesting to watch. That's why I want to know if you watched it, because I guarantee they didn't play it like a normal person played it. Like, they must have done a lot of bizarre things to skip or activate certain things. So
yeah, it was really crazy. And again, thinking back to, it took me over a week with the strategy guide to beat it. And these guys are like, oh yeah, you just do here, you go here and pull this button when they'll randomly pull up a menu and then close it. It's like, well, that prevented such and such from happening. Like, this is ridiculous, but
this is not right. This doesn't feel right.
That's all I had.
All right. What about you, Corey?
Mine, short and sweet. I've been playing a lot of Splatoon, obviously, although I missed the Splatfest. And aside from that, I have purchased the Namco Museum. I was this close to pulling the trigger today for Retro City Rampage DX, which is on the Switch also. And aside from Switch games, the only other game I played is last night I played That's You, the free PS Plus game that's very similar, and a lot of people are comparing it to the Jackbox games, like Quiplash and Fibbage. But we were talking before we started recording, and Mike, you said people were complaining about that game?
Well, I listened to the Beastcast, Giant Bomb's Beastcast, and I think 2 or 3 episodes ago, whenever that game came out free on PS Plus, Dan Reichert was talking about it, and he said it was a horrible experience that they suffered through. I think for the 4th of July, he goes to Minnesota to hang out with a friend or something like that, and that was one of the games they were playing, and they had like constant disconnect issues, and it's been a few weeks now since I've listened to it, but there was some other issues that he was saying were not as smooth as the Jackbox experience.
Yeah, I was surprised to hear that. Maybe I've just played it since the patches come out or something, but I had 0 issues. We never had a problem, no disconnects. Everything connected very smoothly. Unlike Jackbox games, you don't go to a website on your phone. You actually connect to the PS4. You have to download an app for this game specifically on your phone, and then you connect directly to your PS4.
Yeah, that was one of his issues. He said it wasn't as accessible. Like, what if I wanted to play at a family thing and my grandmother was over and she can barely use her phone? How is she going to be able to do this?
Well, she can barely use her phone. She's not going to be able to get to a Jackbox website either.
Yeah.
But I think they did that because you have to upload photos quickly. You take a lot of selfies and you draw on them. It's almost like, it's a Snapchat drawing meets a Jackbox game. It's also much longer. When you play one of those Jackbox games, the whole game, you can finish it in like 4 minutes or something. So you play it a bunch of times. These have quite a few rounds and they last a lot longer. And if you're in the right company, I hadn't laughed this hard in forever. I laughed a lot harder playing this than I did playing, Quiplash or Fibbage. So I highly recommend it. Go give it a try. It didn't crap out on me. That doesn't mean that it won't. But again, I've only played it one evening with like 2 other people. So maybe that has something to do with it too. That's about it for me.
I think that's free until October. I don't think that was just a monthly free game. I think that's going to be free for a while on PS Plus.
Yeah, so you can't beat the price. Go check it out.
All right. Let's move on then to some news. Why don't you play that lovely sound, Corey?
Extra, extra, read all about it.
And we're going to kick it off here with some notable releases. And this is a hell of a week for PlayStation. We always hear the Xbox people, there's nothing to play on the PlayStation. Or you'll hear the latest one I've heard. Stop me if you've heard this before. I only play PlayStation games for the exclusives. Otherwise, I'm playing on the Xbox. That's one thing I've heard lately. So for those people, you're going to be buying a lot of PlayStation games this week and in the coming weeks.
Yeah, it's going to get pricey.
This first one here is not a exclusive, but it is Batman: The Telltale Series, Season 2, Episode 1. And now we'll get into all the exclusives. Graceful Explosion Machine. While this is on the Switch already, it is now coming to the PS4. And so far, no plans to bring it to the Xbox. Maybe he's working on it, but right now, just a PS4 launch this week. Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice. This is from Ninja Theory, the people that did DMC, Devil May Cry. This is supposed to be a AAA quality game, but not AAA as far as length. So they're estimating the playthrough will be somewhere between 8 to 10 hours, and the price for it is reflected that way too. Cliffy B's new game, Lawbreakers, comes out this week, PC and PlayStation 4. And Corey, you're excited about this last one, right?
Yes. Would you like me to pronounce it? I know you were nervous about pronouncing it.
I'm very nervous.
It's written very strangely.
Go ahead.
It's a Cinemora. This is Cinemora EX. This released originally just straight up Cinemora, released on the Xbox 360. I think back in.
It's also on the Vita.
Was it on the Vita too?
Yep.
Yeah. Is this the shmup with the animal pilots?
It is, yeah. The narrative is super weird and was totally lost on me. But it's like a 2D side-scrolling shooter like Defender or Gradius. And it, instead of just being a shmup, it also has you have bullet time type powers. So when things are going sideways and you are surrounded by bullets, you can slow down time and jump around them. It's super cool, a lot of fun. And I'm not huge into shooters like this, but I'm definitely going to pick it up as soon as it's available.
Excellent. And we'll have some more news items here in just a bit, talking about some PlayStation exclusives. But for this week, how many news stories do we have, Corey?
7.
7 or so.
I think.
Let's kick off.
7-ish.
7-ish. PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, PUBG. Again, their update came out this week. We talked about the first-person mode. We've talked about the cosmetic items. Other thing that included in there is a VOF slider. But I think one thing that people should know is that the game now supports Xbox controllers. So you could use your Xbox controller in the past. It just wasn't, fully optimized. So this update does include that. There's also new animations when using consumables, tweaks to sound, and spark effects to flat tires, which is oh so important. I need to be immersed in my game, like Sean says. I need full immersion. But one other thing here, interesting to note, is now you can honk the horns on the cars.
Thank God.
We didn't do it all last night for some reason. Shame on us.
That element of surprise is just way overrated, huh?
So this has been a big issue this week. I'm not sure if you guys have been following the news this week, but the honking of the car horns has been a problem for famous streamers. So what's happening? Are you familiar with the term a stream sniper? Either of you?
Oh, that's this. You look at someone else's stream to find where they are and go get them?
Right.
Like in the options, you're actually in their same match?
Exactly. So these people are doing that, but instead of trying to kill, say, Dr. Disrespect or Summit 1G or Vis or whoever else you watch play PUBG, these people are getting in cars and driving around where the streamer is and just laying on the horn. Just like not fucking letting go, just honking the horn nonstop. So
that's hilarious. I think
I say let them, only because I have a hard enough time finding the people who are on my own squad. So if you can actually identify a famous streamer before the match starts and then follow him and find him on the map and know that it's them, good on you, I guess. How are they finding them? How are they even knowing that they're in there?
I don't know. I don't know how it's happening. I'm not that sophisticated. I'm not that smart. A lot of these guys now, they have, transitions in their Twitch stream. So, for instance, when you watch Dr. Disrespect and he starts a map up, you are just watching him, and then the background, the overlay, has like his Twitch logo. And you're not actually seeing him in the plane or where he's jumping because he doesn't want people to know where he's going to be.
Right.
And then once he's landed, then he transitions to the game.
Yeah, I mean, I get that. It's just I don't, because the only names you can see on other people are ones who are in your squad. So if he's not in your squad, like how is anyone identifying his character from anyone else in the game?
It happens. I don't know how they do it, but it happens. And he even has said he doesn't really care that much. He says because half these guys don't know how to play. These blonde bag, chubby cheek, no talent kids, they don't know how to play, and he's shooting them down anyway. So
that's me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you're playing online, like, welcome to being online. People have been dicks online for decades. It just happens. And if that's what you're literally streaming, I feel like that kind of comes with the territory. Especially if you become a big streamer, you're going to have people hassle you. So I wouldn't alter the game for a streamer's sake like that.
Well, like I said before, you don't get anything. I mean, you get a winner chicken dinner, and then you move on. Like, there's nothing in game that you get other than more of those battle points, which really only unlock more cosmetic. So
I will make the argument that the more successful you get at playing and you are a streamer, the more people watch you. Certainly you have to be entertaining. That's the first and foremost, right? You can be the most successful and talented, PUBG or Counter-Strike guy, and you'll get a certain segment of people to watch you just for your pure skill. But you also have to bring in some sort of, attitude or energy or entertainment value. And if you are playing the game and you just have the entertainment but not the skill because the stream snipers are, constantly killing you and things like that, well, that hurts their revenue a little bit, right? That's...
You can't censor the audience, man. I mean, that's the game is not made for streamers. It's made for everybody. So
yeah. Well, it sucks. And the developers have already banned stream snipers, like legitimate people coming in. They can see anytime this person jumps into a match and you're always jumping in the match with them. And if they back out and you back out, they have those metrics underneath that can catch people doing that. Those people get banned. So far, just the people honking the horns, nothing has happened yet. But the other people are actually trying to jump in and kill you and just always try to be in your match and cause trouble and things like that. Those people are getting the ban.
Yeah, I could understand that because, online people will just randomly find someone and just assign themselves as hating that person. So I can get it how there would there would be people that would stalk, certain.
Yeah, there has to be a line in the sand as far as harassment. If you're just doing it one or two times, honking the horn, you got some yucks, and then you're gone. No harm, no foul. But if you're in there every time he's playing and chasing him down and beeping the horn, then that's harassment. It's a form of harassment for sure.
They already have rules against that, so yeah, it's not like they're breaking any new ground.
Yep. Let's move on to some PlayStation news. We already talked about how the exclusives keep on coming out. There's been more news this week. The makers of Torchlight 1 and 2 have a new game out called Hob. It's not out yet. It's coming out September 26th. So finally they have released a release date. So this has been at PAX West and East for a couple of years now. This is Runic. Again, made Torchlight 1 and 2. It's their upcoming 3D platformer puzzle game. So September 26th, it's coming out on the PS4 and PC.
I think Jay had a big boner for this game at PAX, didn't he? I remember him talking about it a couple of times.
Yes, that's correct. And we all like House Smart games here, I think. Whether we're talking about Resogun, Nex Machina, Alien Nation, Dead Nation. Their latest game, Matterfall, is coming out August 15th, which is just about, 9 days away. So
it also looks really cool, too.
This is sort of a platform space shooter, sci-fi shooter.
Yeah, it looks like hyper-violent, lots of color, which is, stereotypical for, or not, it's just par for the course for, House Marquee. The visuals look really, really striking.
Yeah. So again, that is August 15th for their latest game. Corey, I'm going to rely on you for this next one. This is some Switch news. The Sploosh-O-Matic has been added to Splatoon 2. Not the Douche-O-Matic, the Sploosh-O-Matic.
Oh.
And you played the first game, is that correct?
I did.
All right, so this gun comes from the first game. Do you remember the Sploosh-O-Matic?
Not at all.
Uh-oh.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
There were a lot of guns added, and they all had silly names. And granted, I've already played Splatoon 2 way more than I played 1, so that's probably why. I don't think I got as far into 1.
Yep. So this was originally added to the first game as free DLC. The Sploosh-O-Matic specializes in close combat, high attack power, and fast rate of fire. In Splatoon 2, the gun will come with the splashdown special weapon and the curling bomb as its sub-weapon.
Yeah, that's what I'm more interested in. If a gun looks really cool, if the sub and the special weapons suck, I'm not going to use it. And this seems like a very almost like an Uzi style gun. All the guns, you can tell what they're supposed to be. You can tell what gun is supposed to be a sniper rifle, what gun acts as like a shotgun. This seems like a very close automatic weapon. So I'll probably try this out. And I do like the special and the sub. The sub is the one I use for my current build.
All right, and we have two stories here, two Xbox-related stories to wrap up the show. Microsoft is releasing a new update to Minecraft. It's called Better Together, and this supposedly allows people to play from PC, Xbox, and Switch all in the same world. I think that's my loose interpretation of what this is supposed to be about. They have come out and said, while we are thrilled to be able to confirm the new version of Minecraft is coming to Nintendo Switch, we are still in discussion with Sony about PlayStation and have nothing to confirm. We would love to work with Sony to bring players on PlayStation 4 into this ecosystem as well. So this has been, I guess, seen as a positive step that they're saying it's not coming, that they're still in discussions with them. It seemed like around E3 that discussions were closed and Sony had no interest in doing this. So this opens the door just a little bit on some positivity on crossplay.
It's good to hear, but they are at the same time kind of very, in like business speak, subtly throwing them under the bus. Like, we're still in talks. We would love to do it, but we have to talk to Sony. Like, you can tell they're definitely blaming Sony, and that might be totally true. Could be all Sony's issue.
It could.
Well, it's very clear to me now that Microsoft just does not care about the safety of my children like Sony does. So.
I mean, neither of them have friend code, so they don't even care.
I know, right? Anyone could just get on there and talk to them.
I need to hold that thought for 1 second because I want to get into kids and online safety here in just 1 second. Okay. Last bit of news here, Xbox wireless controller adapting coming out this week to PC. I was like reading this and I'm like, wait a second, I already own one of these and I already use one of these. I already can use an Xbox One controller. But supposedly this is a new adapter. It's $24.99. It comes out August 8th and it is a smaller version of the previous design. So
does it still only work with the newer ones that came out with the Slim, or does it go back and work with like the day one?
It does not say that here in the story. It says Xbox One controllers. So check that out. The one I have works most of the time. All right, let's get into this kid thing here. So I had my first experience this week with kids and online danger. So what really got me a little upset is my son didn't tell me this for about a week. And so my middle child is an avid Roblox player. It's the only game he plays. He was a Minecraft guy for a very long time. He discovered Roblox and has just cold turkey quit Minecraft. So for a better part of a year now, he's strictly Roblox. And one day he came downstairs from his bedroom, all very upset in tears, crying, saying, that he can't get into his Roblox account on his Kindle. So after various, jumping through hoops and things like that, and after sending an email to the people that make the game, I finally found out what was going on. I got into his email account that I forgot that's what I created an email for him just specifically for Roblox. And when I got into that email address account, it said that Mr. Predator5 at yahoo.com has taken control of this account. If you didn't mean to do this, revert actions now. So, of course, I reverted the actions, took control of the account, changed all the passwords and things like that. And then I could go in there and I could look at the chat discussions of the person who stole my son's account and how upset my son was, telling him, I'm just a child, you've taken my account, and this was right around the time that someone in my family died, and he says, my uncle just died, now you're doing this is horrible, I'm just a kid, give me my account back. And that was an upsetting moment for a dad to have to read those comments. So for
Did he say how he did it? Like, did he trick your son into giving up information?
Yes,
or did he hack it?
I don't believe he hacked it. I believe it is common among Roblox players to give access to accounts. I don't know why, because I read some of the other things with people he is friendly with on there. If they've done that, and I don't know what they do, but I will say, to be very clear and direct, he is forbidden to talk to people on there anymore, and he is forbidden to give his credentials up to anybody ever again. So he is not. He is not innocent in what happened. He certainly, is a player in what happened. But he was under the assumption, because it worked before with friends who he did it with before, that the person would just go in, take what they want, and give it back to him, and he'd be all set. But the person went in there, changed the email address, and locked him out of the account. And the guy
did it surreptitiously. Then he tricked your son. It wasn't that's. What a piece of shit. And I can't believe his name is Predator whatever at Hotmail. Yeah. What a cocksucker.
Yeah, and you could look, and they give you further statistics, and the guy was from like Belarus or something like that. And so yeah, that sucks.
Yeah, I mean people out there are shitty. I'm glad to see that it wasn't some sort of sexual predator or something even creepier like that. But the fact, that game, I haven't played that game, but that game is primarily for kids, right?
Yes, yeah, I think so, yep.
Yeah, so he was specifically in there, conning kids into getting their accounts, and I assume there's probably some way to make money for it. Maybe he was holding them hostage or something like that to make money for it. But
I don't know what his end game was, because I think you can go in and you can take people's. There's a whole trading thing. I'm not sure if he went in there and took something he wanted, then made the trade to his own account and then just never gave the account back. I don't know. It was disturbing.
What a scumbag.
Yeah, so we have locked...
Do you have... What's his email address? Do you remember it exactly? Give out his email address live here. Maybe someone can send him some terrible shit.
I want to say it was like Mr. Preda, Preda 5 at yahoo.com. I'd have to confirm that, but I want to say that's what it was.
Yeah, so if we have any listeners who are part of like Anonymous, go steal that guy's fucking email address. Fuck that guy.
Yeah. So yeah, that's my story with kids. It is, for a while there, I didn't child-proof any of my kids' stuff, and I'm more about educating than locking down their devices and things like that. Especially if there's nothing in there that he can buy or anything like that. It's not like my credit card is hooked in there or anything like that. So yeah, just be on the lookout for shit like that. I know your child is young, Corey, and certainly Jeremy, you have 2 kids that are growing up fast and will be on these things sooner or later if they already aren't.
I was actually going to ask, like, are the majority of his friends online like real life friends or just...
Nope, people he's only met through Roblox.
Okay.
Yep.
That sucks. Because he did it because he'd done it with other people, and they probably had a level of trust there using each other's accounts. And now, I know everything's back to normal and you fixed it, but now that level of trust is gone. And I know that's something you're supposed to teach your kids, like, don't trust people online. But it is a little bit depressing that's what you have to do to keep them safe. Is you have to say, like, don't trust anybody. I know this guy seems great, but you don't know what he could be up to. So do not trust him. You're better off not trusting. And that's just depressing. That's like a depressing outlook just to look at people that way.
Yeah, it was just put to him in rather simple terms without getting him upset or making him feel bad. It was just, you were 9 years old, go in there, play the game, have fun, but you're not allowed to talk to anybody. You're not allowed to send messages to anybody. If it's just a simple UI thing where, hey, so-and-so wants to trade you this weapon for that weapon, and you just got to click accept, that's fine. But there's no talking to people and things like that, and all his friends have been deleted, which is unfortunate. You want your kids to have friends, but this is a situation that didn't have a good outcome, so.
You're bad for morale, Mahoney.
Yes. Exactly. So there we are with that. That was my little dad's tale. We make Jeremy feel like he's at home.
Yeah, I feel better now. Thanks.
Yeah. Plugs, shout-outs. Anything you got going on, Corey?
Mine, I'll be relatively quick. I just recommend watching the new season of Rick and Morty. It's awesome. And I believe that the new episodes air when we record, and then they go up for free on Adult Swim. So even if you don't have cable, go watch them there. As I mentioned, I'm now the events coordinator for 1UP Games. That is like an arcade in Plainville, Massachusetts. If you're in that area, you can check out oneupgames.net, the website. You can see all the games they have available there. They're doing a live Splatfest on August 16th at 5 p.m. If you're in the area and you have a Switch and Splatoon, or even if you don't, you can like rent them there. So come by, we'll have a Splatfest. I think there's going to be like free food and drinks and stuff. So come by and hang out. And I'm also running their social media sites. Well, running their Twitter and their Instagram, not their Facebook yet, but running those now too. So you should follow those because that would be cool. And another shout out to Preda15 at Yahoo. Fuck that guy. Seriously, go steal his email address. Cocksucker. That makes me mad. Like, I'm mad about that shit.
Oh, the comments I read in there, I don't even want to read them because they just get me too upset. But just to hear your son say, "Hey, I'm just a kid," you're making me cry over here. I'm just a kid, is a heart punch. Go ahead, Jeremy.
I probably should mention the other show that I'm on a regular basis, Dad's Getting Grounded, the podcast for dadshideout.com. I mentioned earlier, last episode, I lost internet about a third of the way through. And then the next episode, if you're really sick of me here, should be a good one because it's the first episode that I will not be on at all. We've been doing that for just over 4 years, so it was a good run with no misses, but I will be out of town for the next one. So give those guys a listen. I'm kind of interested to hear how that goes as well. We talk about dad stuff, game stuff, movies, TV, all that good pop culture things. And Mike, I'll go ahead and do it for you since it may be uncouth for you to mention the other venture. Bad Fodder Figures is something that Mike and myself and Devious Mr. Matt from the 40cast very recently started doing. It's not a competition of any of the shows that we do in any way, because it is literally just us, hopefully one night a week, sitting down, playing a game, streaming it, and having laughs. We're not really all about, hey, subscribe, and we're certainly not going to have a Patreon so you can pay $1 and see it a day early or get extra pictures of whatever. It's really just for funsies.
But I do have pictures if you need them.
He does have pictures, and you mentioned last night, what we're calling episode 1 of sorts. We found that Mr. Mike here has a hidden talent of an ESL announcer. So definitely something to take a look at. Just if you can see his skills and just commentating after he was killed and then was spectating us, it was definitely a sight to behold.
We're in a top 15 situation here, folks.
Yeah, so we now have new nicknames as well. I am now Muck Muck.
Yep.
I'm not going to tell you why. You got to watch it to find out.
Yep, and Matt is Half-Life, and also have to watch.
Now, I know you don't have a Patreon, but is there anywhere I can pay just a little bit of extra money to see pictures of Matt in hot pants? Or no? You guys putting those up?
You guys can work that out on the side.
Will do.
Matt likes the money, so I'm sure anything is a go.
Everything's on the table.
Yes.
I'm pretty certain he plays in those white cotton panties.
Yeah, over his head. That's why he can't drive so well. He can't see. All right, this has been episode 210 of Gamers in Beta. Jay has been missed, but he will probably be back next week. Other than that, keep participating in Discord. If you want to chat with us at Discord, go to tinyurl.com/gamersinbeta. You can tweet at us at gamersinbeta. Leave voicemails again, 508-658-BETA. And enjoy those new games that are coming out on PlayStation this week. And hopefully we'll have some Xbox One X pre-order news next week. Maybe. Who knows? Possible. Anybody want to play the role of Jay? No? Going once? Going twice?
I say we force the guest to do it. That's what I say.
Yeah, sure. I've done it before. That's fine. Same beta time, same beta channel. See you.
Hey, listen, look, listen, hey.
Also faster and your way wasn't stalled by the evil masters, and you better get a beat shed every day. Say that I love the FBI. The leader, he was a drag queen, was bad-tempered and really mean. Been floating around and giving peace of mind, swimming around in my sick little mind. That's all the things and they go so fast, but the kind of power's not made to last. To the phone when you're all alone, voices in the bushes and you feel the rushes, and you better get a beat shed every day. Say that I love the FBI.
My girlfriend sucked 37 dicks.
In a row?
In a row.
Hey, you, get back here.